Do you want to know how to maintain the value of parents in society? Do you feel like that the role of parent is under attack? Because it kind of is. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach parents all over the world. In fact, I help parents improve their bonds with their children through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to help maintain that role of parents. Why are parents not seen as valuable anymore? What in the world is happening? Let's talk about that, and let's talk about some simple things that you might not have thought of before that we can do to help parents maintain their value in society. First, we need to talk about how parents contribute to society. The most influential person in a society, hands down, can't compete, is parents, specifically the mother, but mother and father working together, because mother and father raise the next generation. They raise the children. Unless they don't. Unless mother and father turn the next generation over to someone else. Pop culture, the media, the school, the society, whoever it is, to raise the child. Because it's parents who get to decide that. It doesn't matter how many rules or regulations come into a society. The heart of the child is turned toward the people who gave it life first. It's just the way we're engineered. We cannot change that. And so that means whatever mother and father value, whatever mother and father teach, become the gold standard for the child. That is what helps the child determine how they are going to live their life. Now, even if mom and dad are not stellar examples for the child cannot separate themselves from that attachment with mother and father. It's something that is just innately born in them. My husband was adopted, and for many years he said, I've got to find my adoptive parents. I want to see my mom. Even though he loved his mother and he loved his father who raised them, they were his mother and father, and that's how he sees them. He still felt like he needed to know this other person that gave them life. Even if they didn't want to have a relationship, he just needed to know his story. He needed to know where he came from and who the people were. He needed to see them. There was something about that attachment of who a person comes from. It is wired into us. In fact, as a foster parent, so years I did treatment foster care for troubled teens. Many of them had been traumatized and abused, and you'd think they'd never want to see their abuser again, but it's not true. They love their parent. Even if their parent mistreated them, they are connected to their parent, and if they don't have a mother or a father, they don't know what to do. Some of these modern ideas that the schools become the parent and the government becomes the parent and the parents are just random facilitators for the child, these are progressive ideas that do not just destroy the parents, they destroy the children, because the children will forever be wandering and wondering who they belong to. This communistic idea that a society can raise a child and the parents are irrelevant, that anyone can take over that role of parents, is truly naive, it's misguided, and it doesn't even understand how people work. Parents are the most influential in society because whatever a parent does will be what a child does, even if that child is being taught at a school, because the parent is the one that shows them what it means to be living a successful and happy life, and they will give them the recipe of that through their actions. And if a parent isn't there to give the recipe for that, then the child will be constantly lost and wondering. And you might wonder if they'll be easier to control or harder to control. Well, I'll tell you, as a treatment foster parent of a lot of children who had broken bonds with their parents, they will be harder to control. The behaviors will be wild. The society will become more wild and more corrupt as the parent's value is diminished in society. I have seen it again and again. So what can we do? What can we do? Let's talk about why first. Why is this happening? And then what we can do about it. Before we get to why this is happening and what we can do about it, click on the subscribe button now. This whole channel is dedicated to unifying family relationships, to teaching everyone the skills and principles that they need for self-government, which helps your family communication and helps solve so many of the problems. If there is one unit of society that should be a self-governed unit of society, it is the family. They should have that sovereignty. And that requires them taking deliberate action to create self-government in their environment at home. And that's what this channel is all about. So click the subscribe button now. So why does this happen? Why is it that parents are becoming so devalued? Well, there is a movement. I mean, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist out there, but there is a political and ideological movement that is all about empowerment. So they're moving toward empowerment of the people, but it's almost like this movement away from family. So in order to empower the individual, there are many voices in the education world as well as in the media world, pop culture world. The voices are, if you want to be your own self, pull away from your family. If you want to be your own self, pull away from your religious beliefs. If you want to be, and so people think that they have to pull away from every truth they've ever found, the people that love them best, the people who have their best interest at heart, the people who are brave enough to do a correction for them, that they have to pull away from those people in order to become their real selves. And so they've bought into this idea that empowerment comes from breaking away from everybody who cares about you. What a lie. What a joke. Because you never find freedom without attachment. You never find identity or self or the true you without knowing where you came from, who you are, and where you're going. And those are all things that religion and family give the whole world all the time. So if we want to make sure that our value as parents is maintained, but we've got to keep our integrity and not be promoting those messages. Do you know, I head a nonprofit organization. It's an international nonprofit. We have consultative status at the United Nations. It's called the Worldwide Organization for Women. And in this organization, we go and advocate at the UN and other places in other countries, as well as on our home shores, for faith, family, and sovereignty. Because these are three things that give everybody freedom. And when we're talking about women, these are three areas where women historically have the greatest impact. They have the greatest impact in their families. They are the ones that give faith and morals and values and stuff to their children. So they need to have freedom of those things. They are the ones that create a sovereign environment in their homes as they are raising their children. So when we're talking about sovereignty for nations, I'm also talking about sovereignty for families. Well, as I go and talk at places like the United Nations, guess what I found? I have found that parents are habitually disregarded. They have these human rights that occasionally mention family or parents occasionally, and they're pretty decent human rights. But when it comes down to the documents that they're creating, when it comes down to some of the speakers that they're inviting in to do the educating, they are bringing in people who are bent on dismantling the family, promoting the disregard for motherhood, fatherhood, and the vital roles that mothers and fathers have in strengthening society. They want mothers and fathers to follow their ideas in lockstep instead of supporting them in what they are wanting to teach their children and how the mothers and fathers are wanting to strengthen and raise their generation. Did you know that there is frequently a dialogue related to women at the United Nations where mothers are referred to as unpaid workers? Unpaid workers. What is that? This means that at the United Nations and among that group of people, they often assume that a person's only value comes with a paycheck. Huh, that's funny. If somebody says that I have to be paid for being a mother, that is an insult. Being a mother is a position that I have in society that cannot be replaced by anyone else. To be paid would be to cheapen it. Anyone can get paid for something. Anyone can be a manager at an office or go to school and get a degree as a lawyer or a doctor. Anyone can do those things, but not anyone can be the mother to my children and get the inspiration that I get for them and train them to become the people that I know they need to be. No one else can do that. My role there is completely irreplaceable. In the education movement, we're trying to dish money to parents for education. In the women's movements, we are trying to make it so that pay for women is the most important thing instead of support of who they are. Many people are so worried about getting women in the workforce that they actually think it's bad if a woman wants to raise her child or spend extra time with the child and have a job where they can be home in after school hours. Wow, that's silly to me. That's silly to me that we would slap a parent in the face like that just because we think that they should make money and that somehow that should be the most important thing for them. Insulting. Insulting. So as parents, we've got to stand up for who we are. We've got to take it. We've got to love it. We've got to even like it. So we love the children, of course we do, but do we like it? Do we like the parenting? Maybe not every minute of the day. Maybe sometimes it can be difficult. So what can we do? What can we do to love it more? Well, first off, we've got to find out who we are. That's going to really help us. So who are you? I've actually written a book called Roles: The Secret to Family, Business, and Social Success. And this book talks about who we are in the family. Did you know a mother is not just someone who cooks food or does hair? Those are just random responsibilities. Anyone can do those things. And a daddy isn't someone who mows the lawn and wrestles. Anyone can do those things. Those are just actions. But what a mother is she's the heart and hearthstone of the family. She holds the strings to her children's hearts. She can even turn them against daddy if she wants to. She can also turn their hearts toward daddy. So if they're struggling with daddy, she can help them love daddy more. And daddy turns their hearts back towards mama as he honors mom, as being that moral guide for the family. If he follows mom's morals, he shows the children they need to follow mom. Moms and dads protect their children. Dads are often considered protectors and providers, but how do they provide best for their children? By teaching the children who the leader is. And when the children are young, leader is mom. And if he undermines her authority, then the children will undermine her authority too. And later, when they hit age 12, they turn their hearts toward dad. And whatever dad has done with his life, whether he's a deadbeat or a tremendous success, they will want what he has. So, dads, form your lives in ways that your children want to be you. Mothers, form your hearts in ways that you can lead the hearts of the children, and then take it and don't let anybody else do it. Don't let the school do it. Even if they go there, don't let the school do it. Tell the children first. You be the first authority on everything, on all the sex talks, on all the difficult conversations. You talk about the current events. You form the children's hearts. That's what they need. And then you will hold the greatest value in their hearts and in their minds as they reach maturity and on to adulthood. They will want to become you. There is nothing greater than that. As I've seen my children reach adulthood now, and I've seen them become me and my husband, there is no greater joy that I could have than knowing I gave them an example that they wanted to take and run with in their adult years. Sure, I'm not perfect, and I hope they improve on all of my flaws. But if they want to live their lives like I do and follow the beliefs that I follow, then I know that they will be at least as happy as I am. If you've enjoyed this video, you might want more on how to communicate with your children, and I can give you more on how to communicate with your children. In fact, probably the best place to start is actually with a video called The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. If you click on the link to that video now, you will learn key skills and principles that you can use to communicate with your child, no matter their age, to help bring their hearts toward you so that you can establish your position in their hearts and in your family, even though society is trying really hard to undermine you. Click on the link to that video now. I'll see you there.